little bit of trouble. This chair's a little dirty for my suit.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem. I
right.
don't think I've cleaned it ever. So
I per happenstance, I was with 2 officers yesterday. I've been trying to ride along with as many cops as I can to get a impression of like what's actually happening, right? And get a sense of, you know, building up the PD, making sure the right things are being done, blah, 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 blah. And lo and behold, I witnessed everything that went down yesterday, and man, I said to myself, that was fucking disgusting. Between the amount
crazy,
of officers that arrived to the way
crazy.
it was, I was beside myself. But before I give too much of my opinion, I want to know what happened from your perspective, and please be honest, right? Like, were you selling drugs? Was this happening? Was that happening? Because that gives me a better insight as to what needs to be done. Like, it makes I can make a better argument that way. You know what I mean?
I will tell you honestly what happened. I think I'd got back from protecting people running Sani, and we were coming back to the block. And then we were gonna pull in. We were going past for some reason. I think someone needed to go to the hospital. And on the corner of the block where we hang out, the ADMC block, that little thing across the road from the fucking hospital. There was a police car just sitting, on the block, like on the corner, in like the park area by the public toilets. Someone pointed out. I went over there. I'm like, "Hey, g'day, what's up? You can't be here if you're just gonna sit here. If you're doing something, just go across the road to do it." It was Helen Highwater, and she said, "I'm meditating. I'm aligning my chakras." So I'm like, "Oh, okay. So you're meditating. Like maybe you just need to think about something really quick. Just do it across the road, right?"
Wait, run it back.
It
Where did Helen come into the picture? Who just happened to
Helen
be there?
Helen was the cop that was in the car on the block, right?
Oh.
So that's the car that I approached to begin with. And it was like a gray Taurus looking thing. So ask her just like, "Hey, if you just..."
That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, "Hey, hop across the road. You can't be here." And she's like, "Yeah, okay, sure."
Oh my
And then she
God.
doesn't move. So I'm like, "Okay, last time I'm gonna ask you, move across the road." She doesn't do anything still. So I don't threaten her. I don't pull a gun. I don't brandish anything. I just knock her car across the road. I just push it over towards the hospital. Yeah, with my vehicle.
Which is why I was smoking, I take it? Because I saw...
No, that wasn't even the car. That wasn't even the car I used.
Okay, yeah.
That was another car that was just on the corner of the road that had crashed out, and I was just repairing it. So basically, I knock Helen's car across the road. I go from the hospital side over towards the manhole where you saw me, I got rolled up on. This was literally in the span of like 10 seconds. I just drive there immediately. I get out. I start fixing the car so we can move it off of the sidewalk. And then everything happens. Fucking all the cops rock up. I do have a gun out. I put it on the fucking hood of my car so it doesn't get in the way of my tool belt and shit.
Yeah.
So I've got the gun on the hood of the car. So yeah, I did have a gun out. Yeah, that is something they could pull me up on, but I've never had a TRT response for a brandishing call.
Yeah.
I found out later that apparently it was a TRT thing, and they were going after drug sales, but
who told you it was TRT?
No one was fucking... The cops did on scene.
That is... Oh my God.
The cops did on scene. And they were checking us all for drugs. They were asking like, "Did they have any drugs? Did they go in buildings? This, that? Oh, no drugs. What? So
yeah,
it was obviously a fucking bunked sting-off.
Yeah.
And that they pivoted onto us because we were just in the vicinity. Like none of us had drugs. None of us were pushing drugs. None of us had, like we had literally been in the vicinity of that block for like 30 seconds before they rolled up. And I guess I activated my global taunt and I tanked the aggro. So
what happened was you put Helen in danger. And a gang rolled up.
I knocked her across the road. I didn't even threaten her though. I mean, if you're gonna fucking have that response for,
it's irrelevant.
I know they are justified. Right?
I don't think so. And maybe I'm the cooked one here, but if you're... Let me put it this way, all right? I am sick and absolutely tired of shootouts coming out of mundane things. You tell someone to fuck off of your gang territory, you as a police officer should be making a choice. A, are we going to investigate and actually shut this gang territory down? Or are you going to do the dumb shit, which is get everyone in your fucking gang to roll through in tight and create a situation where the only option is shooting? And so this isn't the first time I've seen. I cannot sit there and watch. You had a gun out. Yes. Maybe you might have, told someone to fuck off and hit them with their car. Fine. But you put your gun away. The fact that the first option was not put weapons down, try to communicate it out.
Yeah, I tried to de-escalate.
I know.
as well.
I saw it happen. But then to hear, but they had their guns out. Motherfuckers, you come rolling in that deep into gang territory, you know what is the outcome is, right? And as a consequence, Finley, you have my word. And this isn't just because of what happened. This was, think of it as like the final straw. I am likely going to be decriminalizing marijuana and allowing and aiming to allow small sales to be legalized, as well as firearms to be put by this side. And this is probably going to be at least a temporary measure, because if I can't have law enforcement use their fucking brain, well, then I'm just going to empower everybody with the law. So,
I mean, I'm very open about who I am and what I do and everything like that. I carry a gun in my hip, like, all the time. I'm not licensed to do it, but I do it anyway. But, like, I understand, if I'm fucking waving a gun around and, like, actually actively threatening someone with that kind of response, but I literally just put it out of the way while I was working on a car. And I don't know, in those kinds of situations, I'm the kind of guy that I like to preserve life if I can, and I'd rather talk about something before it comes to bullets, because I've had too many of my friends die to dumb shit. That, like, I know that, like, fucking, I myself could potentially die at a fucking moment's notice if some cop, like, fucking Maxwell decides to pull the trigger on something, like, and things get escalated and all this dumb shit when it could have just been solved with just a, hey, can you chuck that away? Hey, or can I talk to you here for this sort of thing? It's like, fucking,
so
it's just dumb. It's just dumb shit.
You and I are on the same wavelength when the only solution, and I know it's on both ends of the spectrum, right? I'm not on copium, right? There are crews that they're looking to shoot cops, but equally, that does not mean that cops should be looking for a shootout, and that's what I believe I witnessed. And if it wasn't looking for it, it was turning off the brain and not recognize. How many times do these people need to go into a gang territory and need to say, I got the bigger dick? That's not how I want to see things. Not in my county.
Yeah. I mean, you can count out, like, if you check my record, I've got a fair few attempted murders. But I guarantee you, all of them, if not like 9 out of 10 of those, like, instances where I've been charged for attempted murder of an LEO, it's because the cops have opened fire first, and it's a retaliatory, like, attack.
I believe it 1,000%.
There's one thing, like, I don't know how well you know my club, but we tend to take fucking killing people pretty seriously. It's not something that we just do willy-nilly. We don't like going out of our way to, like, attack cops, especially how it used to be when there was, like, fucking 4 cops on duty. It was just kind of scummy to stomp on them at that point, So we made it kind of like, I'm instilling in these people that are coming up after me, like, hey, you shouldn't go out looking for fights. Don't look for a fight, because your life could be over like that. It's just dumb as fuck. So to be instilling those principles in my guys, and then have these cops turn around.
Goes to thank the 10 months.
It's just disgusting to me. It's just stupid.
I'm of the same way, because if everything is violent, becomes violent, then nothing matters. And
exactly.
A couple things. I do not believe it was a TRT op. I say this because I think if transparently, when I would recommend that you request a FOIA. Well, actually, you don't know this yet, or maybe you do. There's some legislation that's been altered to make FOIAs incredibly difficult to get. It costs money and a bunch of other bullshit. I'm in the process of contesting it and making the DOJ roll it back.
Ah, that's crazy. What the fuck?
Oh yeah,
It's already impossible to get a fucking FOIA.
I know. I mean, if you want the tea, I can give it to you, but let's just say for now that there's a lot of bullshit that the DOJ is doing, and they got bitched down real quick, and so things are gonna be turning to the better. You know what? I might as well give you the tea, a better insight of things. Marshals have been up my ass, following me with drones, trying to get people, me and Pred, out of office. They're looking for anything. Even though I can tell you, I haven't even committed a crime. Okay, maybe a little bit here and there, but not really. But they're looking to prevent,
Who doesn't?
especially me, from defending the general population. And I found out a drone was following me. I requested a FOIA. They denied it. I realized I needed 4 months of a FOIA to find out what the fuck else they've been doing. They changed legislation in order to prevent me from getting it. I then told them to suck my dick, and I contested their entire ability to make edits on the fly, and the state agreed with me. In this process, they also empowered the marshals to become effectively the high command. And sitting on my phone right now is a 3-4 page document that's going to pull away their power. They will not be able to patrol.
Jesus.
They will not be able to indiscriminately do things with their drones and all the bullshit without a report that can detail the criminal nature of their investigative reason. You know what I'm saying? If you're fucking bored, does not mean go look for problems. Now, I will say this extends to law enforcement, at least my expectations, right? I can't just be like, you know what? Fuck Finley. Let me follow him around and harass him. That's illegal by the Constitution. It's just they don't understand this kind of shit. Now, with that said, once that shit is sorted out, unless you want to pay the $3,000, which is what the cost is right now, $3,000 per report and all this other bullshit, I recommend looking through that report because I think you were lied to. And what actually happened, and I'm not going to say too much because there's things I know in a privileged nature, is probably they were looking for drugs. But probably you pissed off the wrong person, and their gang friends with a badge came through to protect that individual. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a different story from everyone on this scene. It was just lined up mostly to seem like, in my opinion, TRT up. But if that's not the case,
It's
then,
the reason I don't believe it is because Maxwell is TRT, and she responded to a backup request. Had it been, she would have been involved. And unless things have changed, and I've been very, let's just say I've been observing a lot of what Den's been doing, and I've seen some of the stupid shit he has done. TRT's been on a bit of a tightrope, but when they do an operation, they tend to group up and do something. This was a random bozo looking for something.
right. Right. Yeah,
So,
and don't get me wrong, I understand the need for TRT, and I think that I mean, I've had conversations with you as like talking about interceptors particularly sticks out to me. Like, I don't care about getting a high response to something. Like, I'll fucking live for that shit, but give me a high response to something that deserves a high response, you know? Not just because you're bored.
We're of the same mindset. My most
It's
recent
like,
conversations, and you're gonna probably see me fighting for overpopulation legislation, a 24/7 that results in 15-20 cops attaching to it for whatever reason is I'm not cool with that.
Has that been happening?
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yes.
All right. Yeah, because I know they bring in for every interference car, they can bring in another 2 PD cars. So I know that things can kind of spiral in that situation. But
Yeah.
I don't know the max numbers for things like 24/7s. I'm just
Yeah,
going off my old fucking
it's
bank robbery knowledge from back in the day, you know.
what I learned today was that there should have only been 4 units at that scene with you. There was way more than that.
Oh yeah, there was like fucking like there was so many people on roofs already. There was like fucking 4 to 5 cars like on the ground with me. There were cops circling the block. It was fucking
Yeah.
crazy business.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
whatever. I got shot. I got fined.
There okay. Well, look, I'm going to continue to look into this, but like I said, I'm going to be doing what I can to make a bit of a difference, and I appreciate you giving me your perspective, because you have to understand, right? When I speak to you versus where I speak to different members of the PD, they're going to give me a different perspective, right?
Yeah,
like
for
it
sure,
started
for sure.
because they pointed a gun, and I'm like, well, why did that happen? Right? How many cops did you bring? Are you not aware that this is gang territory?
Here's the thing about pointing the gun, though, because when my friend who, quote unquote, pointed the gun, got shot because the police opened fire first. She got shot in the back while she was climbing a ladder.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's the kind of like, isn't it? Oh my god.
It's you know, they're gonna tell a story that's like yada yada, pointing this, pointing that. They were making threats and everything. The reality is, my friend got shot in the back climbing a ladder.
Lord.
And that's how it started.
Yeah, and then it's all muddied because now it's a shootout. And how do you even, like,
Exactly.
like being a defense attorney, let's say I went in to defend you on this, they would be stuck on, well, they don't need to have guns. Well, maybe they shouldn't sell drugs. Well, maybe they shouldn't be in a gang. And it's like, unfortunately, the reality is, did life need to be lost? And that's what it comes down to. If she was shot in the back of the ladder, I'm starting to think, and this is to give you perspective, I have a feeling that, the reason why proper scene control and all this shit needs to be done right, and thought that the officers need to really think about when they need to go up a notch, is because that there's a very real scenario that someone else pointed a gun, said something, and then people started shooting, right? And now all of a sudden there's like 20 cops with their own POVs, and none of them ever will be able to have their story straight. So,
yeah. I mean, again, things get muddy, you know, in the heat of the moment. Guns get pointed everywhere, you know, even if you don't mean to. Even if, you know, the intention isn't to get into a shootout, it's just how do we get to that point, you know? In my opinion, it's
agreed.
How do you get to that point? There's an analogy, you know, that I don't think anyone's ever made before, but it's like, in this analogy, you know, myself, the ADMC, we're Harambe, and the police threw their child in with Harambe, and Harambe's just gonna act like a gorilla. But why did you throw your child in with Harambe in the first place? You know?
Yep.
It's like, he's a gorilla. He's gonna just fucking do what gorillas do.
Exactly. Why is Harambe getting, like, why are you fucking yelling at Harambe?
And then they shot Harambe.
Yeah.
He's just a gorilla.
Yeah. Motherfucker was trying to enjoy his goddamn life. He might have had a family and all that. There might have been Harambe
the mother
Jr.
comes around all willy-nilly chucking a fucking kid in the fucking Harambe pit, and then he gets shot for it. And that's pretty much, I don't think anyone's ever made that analogy before. It might be the first.
It's a good analogy, to be honest, because a lot of people know who Harambe is.
So, yeah, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it anyway.
All right. Well,
I appreciate you actually having a chat with me about it. It's you know, it gives me a little bit of hope, but I do appreciate that genuinely. Like, and I do have this thing doing right now with Milton's, which you might give a fuck about because it's it impacts LSPD. I'm doing a thing where I'm asking police officers to give me a presentation as to why they deserve repairs.
I support that 1,000%. I saw the tweet.
I think it's very funny.
I think it's not only funny, but you know, I think it sends a message that we're the people that keep your car repaired. So, you know, we're not just another like fucking, you know, dollar sign that you get to add to your budget.
We're fucking people. I'm a fucking person, and I got shot for some dumb shit. It's like, you know?
Yeah. I'm doing what I can, especially this term, to focus more on these kind of things. First term, you have no idea how much fucking political red tape there was. And I've finally been able to, one thing that you might be interested in is we're actually trying to pass legislation to get a lawyer organization in place. So
I know there's a few people. I know there's a few people that are doing that actually work at the shop. So if you need any names for that, I might be able to help oblige.
absolutely, it's a big effort. My county will be paying the lawyers to take on your cases.
I think Neil Dixon is the name, but I'll ask around because I know I've got a few people at the shop that are legal and are interested in doing the law stuff. So
Love it.
I'll ask around and I'll send some names your way.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. If you ever need anything, see any problems, have suggestions for the county, please do let me know.
Okay, appreciate you. Thank you
Yep.
for the time.
Anytime. Oh
In
my.
your car while you're here?
Nah, I walked. I was like arresting some people
Alright,
down there.
Okay, fair
All
enough,
right.
mate.
You take care.
Yeah, you be safe.
Bro, no way! Wait, that's what happened. Oh my god, it was worse than I thought. God fucking damn it. I wait. Bro! That makes it so much worse. And you know damn well he's not making up shit. You can tell when someone's genuine or not.